Hello and welcome, my 2nd through 5th grade leaders, for April 16th. This is the curriculum that you have for that, and I did want to throw in some announcements for you guys. First, we are having a pancake breakfast on this upcoming Saturday, which is the 22nd, and this pancake breakfast goes to support all the camp kids and all of that, and so if you are able, please come and eat a pancake with your family and stuff. It's $10. That includes all the stuff. You can get your tickets at the bio.link/RioKids. Hope to see you guys there. The other one we got is a Nerf night coming up the next Saturday, okay? So on the 29th, we're gonna have a Nerf night. I would love to see you guys there as leaders. If you have your own kids, bring your own kids, of course, and then you guys can participate. But as leaders, I would love for you guys to be there and just either help out or run around with a group or anything like that. I would love to have you guys work on that as well. And maybe, shoot some kids in the process with some Nerf darts. It'll be great. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump right in. Today, as we're diving in, we're looking at being humble and putting others, thinking of them as more important than ourselves, right? And so we're still looking at the Philippians 2:3, and today we're actually looking into the Bible verses of Philippians 2:3 through 8. And so as we do that, we're seeing how Jesus humbled himself and how he became a servant of all in all of those verses. And so it's going to be a really good story as we dive into it. This first one, though, what we're doing is kind of getting in the mindset of like putting others first, or like when we're supposed to go and when we're supposed to wait and all of that. And so it's going to be, your goal is to count from 1 to 20 in the group. And so everyone's kind of just like in their group, in your group, and you start off by counting with 1, and then their goal is to say the next number in the sequence. But if they both say the exact same thing at the same time, then you have to reset. Also, if there is a lapse of silence within about 3 seconds or so, then you got to restart again, okay? And so the goal is for like them to figure out, without you pointing fingers and stuff, but them to figure out how to communicate and let other people work and go first by maybe them like pointing to who's going to say the next number and stuff, and then go all the way around. And so that'll be a fun one as they kind of figure that out and figure out how to work together without communicating that instead, okay? Now, this next opening activity is you're going to have some like plastic eggs and stuff, and what you're doing with this is you're going to divide the group into 2 teams, and you're basically just doing like the take it from one side of the room to the other and put it in a bucket through the knees. And so you can't use your hands on this one except to place the egg on in between your knees, but as they place their egg in between their knees, make sure they have an even amount of eggs per team, by the way, too, just so it's fair. And then as they are like hopping or doing whatever to get the egg over to the other side, if they drop the egg, they are allowed to use their hands then and put it back on their knees, but they have to stay exactly where they are when they do that. And then again, the goal is just to get it into the bucket and who can do it the fastest, or which team can do it the fastest. Now, your most important things for today are going to be your discussion questions, okay? So your most important ones are going to be the discussion questions on the after video 1, or your after video 2, you have another activity, but there are good discussion questions that are in there as well, okay? And so even if you are just going and they are just talking and you guys are having great discussion, just do those 2 discussion things. Like, you don't have to do any of the activities. The activities are for them if they are just not ready to really engage in the deeper discussion, okay? Or if they have had too much deep discussion and they want to go into the activities, that's fine too. They're there to help solidify what's going on, or to help bring them and encourage them to like focus in on the actual Bible story themselves. That's what the activities are for, okay? And so you have those discussion questions, go through those. Your activity right under the discussion questions is humble words. And basically do this activity if they don't really understand humility as well as you think they should. And so this has some synonyms to humility, but also some like antonyms. And so have them maybe like cross out the ones that don't mean anything for humility, and then circle the ones that do have a relation or a synonym basically to humility, okay? So as they do that, it's basically just helping them understand more about what that means. Now, the second activity, what you're doing is you're opening up that Philippians 2:3 through 8, and so it's the memory verse plus some extra at the bottom. And what you're doing is, as you're going to have some eggs in the middle of your group, if you want to do this, you're going to have some eggs in the middle of your group, and all be in a circle around the eggs. And when you're going to say like a word that is in the verses, and whenever they hear that word, their goal is to grab the eggs as fast as possible, faster than anyone else in the group. Okay. So for instance, whenever they hear the word you, which is in that verse a couple of times, then, you're reading the verse, and whenever you say you, they're going to all grab those Easter eggs as fast as possible. Whichever person, is left out loses that round, but then they all put the eggs back in and you get another chance for another round. So it's just a fun way to engage them with like hearing what the verse is all about and really listening into that verse. Again, if it is not productive because they're only focusing on that and they're not actually focusing on what the words are, then skip that activity. Like that's really fun too. This next one is a verse shuffle, and basically you have these little memory verse cards, and these will all be cut up and stuff for you. But what you're doing is they're trying to put it all together as fast as possible. So see if they can work together to put it together within 20 seconds. And then can they do it in 10? And then, mix it up again. And can they do it in 5? And it's like, try to challenge them to do it as quickly as they possibly can for the memory verse. And again, that's in the NLT version, not the usual NIRV that we usually use, but this one is a little bit easier for them to get. Okay. Then your prayer activity, super important as we're coming off of Easter. And so as we're coming off of Easter and you are diving into what Jesus did on the cross, what all of that means, dive into that in your small group time, please. Like if you don't get to any activities and you just talk about Jesus the whole time and the sacrifice and what that meant, then do that. That's totally cool. Then go into the prayer where it's like, okay, like why did Jesus do what he did? Well, because he loved us, right? Because he was putting us first. And so as we dive into that, if you just have an extended prayer time, then do that for your students as well. That would be great. That's it for this week, guys. Thank you guys so much for all that you guys do. We hope to see you at the pancake breakfast and on Nerf night. And other than that, we will see you guys in a little bit. Thanks.